adopted out of foster care, because during my time, I was shocked at how few people were adopted out. Now, we had triple-digit increases, and then my successors have increased that even more, I think. At least I believe they have. Maybe they haven't, but I think they have. So this is the best solution to this is leadership to get to the right place. And the most vulnerable people in our society are abandoned and abused kids, the developmentally disabled, the unborn, frail elders. My attitude as a conservative is everybody that's doing really well, they're more than happy to get in the back of the line. But people that are vulnerable, that through no, it's not your fault that you had this challenge as a young person. And it wasn't appropriate for you to have to go to all these different places. The fact that you got adopted warms my heart. And the fact that you're going to college, what's your major? Psychology, yeah. Maybe you'll reinvest your energy to help others that are in, the foster care system. So this is what I'm proud of, is the Shift Power. This will sound corny, maybe, and old-fashioned, but if a fairy godmother landed on my shoulder and could give me any wish that I would want as a person or as a president, it would be to have loving family life surround every child in this country, where families love their children with their heart and soul as their organizing principle. If we had that, everything else would be fine.
Governor, we have time for one more question.
Coming right up. Principle. If we had.
This is my school. I go here.
How's it going?
If you were.
Alrighty.
If you were elected president, would you build us a new one?
So didn't I say I was not going to run for chairman of the federal government school board? I'm sorry to tell you, no. Schools are best done from the bottom up, and the federal government's role is to support schools that are, or kids, basically, to support families that are striving to educate their kids. But this stuff should be done locally first and foremost. I just lost her vote. Yes, ma'am. It's coming. I think we gotta go.
I went to a Hillary town hall yesterday.
I didn't go to that one.
I didn't think so. A good part of her platform is somewhat pandering to women, to the female vote, and she uses the S word, which is sexism, a lot.
Yeah.
But last night for the ABC debate, there was somebody who was a viable candidate who polled 4% higher than Ben Carson, who was on stage. How would you feel if you had been treated like Carly Fiorina?
Yeah, I was disappointed she wasn't on the stage. Her voice she's a great debater, for sure. I mean, I'd love to take out the ums and ahs and all the things in my language and be as concise. She speaks with great clarity. And her voice is important to be heard. And for us to win, we're going to have to contend with the fact that Hillary's case is basically, I'm a historical candidate. And here's how I do it. The way I do it is tell the Florida story, where I appointed more women to the judiciary than any of my successors or predecessors. Qualified women, basically close to 50% of all, I think it was 45% of all the judges. In my administration, we appointed women of real talent. Women's income grew 3 times the national average during my time. The issues that are important to Hillary Clinton are the same ones as in education. She talks about early childhood education. Well, Florida leads the nation in the number of 4-year-olds that are in literacy-based programs. 80% of all 4-year-olds are in literacy-based programs. We just don't do it to cater to the teachers' union. We do it to cater to the families, and they can pick. And most of them, 85% of them, go to private settings, which strengthens community life, by the way, when you have churches and synagogues and community organizations that are participating in this. in the neighborhoods where children live. So I think we're going to make this, we can win this with someone with a proven record. And I have that record. Irrespective, look, I mean, as I said, Carly Fiorina's got a great life story, but my record of accomplishment is one that does pretty good. And plus, I'm an open book. I gave out my emails, 340,000. You can go to jebemails.com if you want to see them. You'd have to get a subpoena to get Hillary Clinton's emails. I've given up 34 years of tax returns. I mean, no one else has done this. I've been the most vetted candidate because of the nature of my family. Trust me, I've been thoroughly vetted. I think we need someone like that who can be trusted to run against someone who lacks trust. One more and then we got to go. Yeah. You got it. Oh, there's two. We need a microphone.
When our daughter was 22 years old in college, she was no longer able to be on our health insurance. And we ended up paying $500 for a family plan and $500 for COBRA. So for 18 months, we spent $18,000 for health care.
Yeah.
After she got out of college and she had to, there was no jobs, we were paying for out-of-pocket. And the only reason we didn't go bankrupt is because we were living in Massachusetts at the time and the health care connector came in. There's things about the Affordable Care Act that helps middle-class families, like children being able to stay on until 26, about not pre-existing conditions not being kept. And the other thing is I work with seniors for 6 years, and I worked with seniors who called me crying because they were in the donut hole and they could not afford their prescription medications. Woman had cancer, and she couldn't afford a cancer medication because she was in the donut hole. Another woman was getting a shot in her eye she couldn't afford because she was in the donut hole. And one of the things about the Affordable Care Act is helping seniors in the donut hole and getting rid of it in 2020. I think there are important things that help the middle class in the Affordable Care Act. I understand the things.
What's the question?
The question is,
Thank you.
want to repeal it.
Yeah.
I understand why you don't want to fix it. Why do we have to throw everything out that's helping middle-class families?
Okay, thank you. So, I do want to repeal it. I want to repeal it for lots of reasons. One, it's a job suppressor, and it's a wage suppressor. And it hasn't worked out at all the way it was planned. You can't see your doctor. The costs are higher than what people anticipated. The out-of-pocket costs are higher. The co-pays are higher. This is not what was planned. What we need to do is move back to shift power back to the states, create exchanges that are don't have all the employer mandate, employee mandate, all the mandated benefits. The two benefits that I believe need to be kept are the ones you bring up, and it's in our plan to allow for people to stay on insurance till they're 26 or 27, and the pre-existing condition element. My experience as governor of Florida is that if you try to create a separate exchange, which is the other option, it's really hard to make it sustainable because you have only the sick people in these funds, and sometimes there's a downturn in the economy, the legislature doesn't fund the money, and you create a spiraling kind of effect. Pre-existing condition would be a better way to deal with this. But a better way is to give people a $3,100 tax credit for those that aren't receiving insurance from their employer, to allow them to go to a free exchange where they can pick the plans they want. And the minimum plan would be a low premium, not a higher premium, catastrophic coverage, where you're dealing with what insurance should be about, which is the high impact, unforeseen event, rather than first dollar cost. And then the business and other ways, if you're low income, the states would craft these programs. All the subsidies would go to the states, and they would create 21st century health insurance systems that would be portable and would allow people that aren't getting their insurance from third-party payers to get it directly on these exchanges. It looks like what you all had in Massachusetts without the mandates. And that I think is a better approach because it'll align us the right way of having growing income again for the middle class and empowering people to make more healthcare decisions themselves. And with that, I got to go to my next town hall meeting. Thank you all very much.